Ed, I'm sharing
I'm sharing my screen.
just on
Not just on your speaker.
You're not on my anything right now.
I can hear me talking.
Like echoing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you can hear me, right?
Just because
But it's because we're both on the phone in there.
yeah.
Okay. So, can you do we need to be on the phone anymore? Or are you good?
Hold on. Say something. Another thing.
I'm talking on the thing.
I just had it turned down. I don't know why it was echoing. No, I couldn't hear you.
No, it's not. It's not echoing. It's because
Oh, I thought you were saying you heard an echo from mine. Okay. Yeah, I got you on here. I'll hang up. Can you hear me? Is it just us?
yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right. I'll start recording right now.
It says I'm sharing and recording.
Okay. Yeah, it says I have to ask you to give me permission to record.
Security. Allow participants to I don't know, but it says for
It says recording on the top left though.
okay.
So
All right, that's good enough then.
you have.
All right, so actually I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna go into options, profiles, I hit create. Go to this, the name, click up C. Okay, I'm gonna set current, and then I'm going to go into properties of this and change this Jacob C. So now this will open with my properties, and what was I gonna do with that? Maybe change my properties or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, so now I'm gonna go into this, and I'm going to save this file. Oh, come on. Sorry. Save this as a template. And okay, this is now a template. And then I'm going to go to my options, file, template settings, default template. This is the default template. Fine, okay. All right, cool. So now whenever I hit new, it should, yeah, it opens up the template. Cool. All right, so right now, you see him.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm trying to put in my AirPods to the thing, just so there's not a lot of background noise from my mic while you're recording.
I couldn't hear you, Mike, at all.
I had it muted, but I'll just leave it like that. It's fine.
Okay. So can you see my Internet Explorer now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is how we're going to normally get drawings. But right now, I'm working on drawings that I got before I had access to that. So JD sent a workflow. So the first is I'm going to bring in the points. So for this, it'd be insert points from file, add the points, and go find field work points. I'm going to go to P and EZB. Okay. Gonna select all of this and cut it. Go to my points. And paste all of this stuff around it. So now this is, so if I edit drawing and I set this to Texas, this is probably South Central. This foot. Turn this on. I might be right. Where's this? This is County Road 769. Yeah, okay. So this is properly located in the world. Like these are my coordinates. Does that make sense? So these, what? 1 million, 13 million is where this is at. So that means this is GPS. Make sense?
I think so. Yeah.
There's two ways. There's two ways of them collecting data. If the data is at a couple million and a couple million, whatever, then that's GPS. And I confirmed that by turning on satellite imagery, and this is roughly where it's supposed to be. Okay. If it's not GPS, it'll come in.
But this is what you're doing that you said was more complicated, but not too complicated. Not like what he'll have me doing.
No. This is you will be importing points. I'm just, and you will need to know if they're GPS or not, because it does change a lot. So if they're not GPS, they'll come in usually at 5,000, 5,000.
Okay.
Okay, so you won't have to move this. So if you have to move this, then it's GPS. And what that changes, I'll show you later. But for now, I'm right here, and I'm going to change my mouse. Okay, so I don't need this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to tool space. So you remember your properties palette in auto
Yeah.
tool space is kind of the same thing, but for your Civil 3D objects. And so in Civil 3D, you're using the points. I'm going to select all my points and edit the style. And I haven't made a style yet, but I will have to eventually. Styles will change. So like, see how this is found iron rod, FIR, half inch?
Yep.
I can get this. So actually, for now, I'm going to start doing this. You see how I just split my screen up into.
Yeah.
Did I show you this already?
No.
Yeah. So I practically have two screens. So I'm going to use this this screen on this side for like my symbols and stuff. So this found iron rock symbol, I will eventually copy it and put it onto this point, right? But you can get you can get Civil 3D to just read this name and put that symbol on it. So I'm not doing that right now. I'll set that up later. I want to get a job done. So this is my annotation scale.
Yeah.
These were a little too big to read. They actually still are. So I'm gonna go down a little bit more. Stupid scales, okay? That's too small. Okay, so you can actually make one. You add the name, B1 equals, let's make it 5. Paper units 1 equals 5. So now, yeah, right there. That's better. Okay. Field work, pulling up his drawing, which this is it.
Oh.
Okay, so that does not look like the house that we were just looking at. Oh, okay, I guess it does. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to have this up on the other screen, zoomed in, so I can see all of these points and whatnot. And I'm going to go over, I'm going to make sense of those over here. So what I'm going to try to do this whole time is to make sure that I'm in the right layer. Okay, so first, just good rule of thumb is to start with the house. So I'm going to go to building. And we're going to find 49, 57. So I can go to here. I know that 49. There's the house corner. Change this so I can do the notes. 49, 50, 57. And that's because now that I know where my house is, it's going to be easy to find everything else, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to switch to concrete layer. This would be miscellaneous conc. Okay. I'm going to start at 17. 19 and 21. So I can tell from this picture that this is actually going to just go perpendicular to this line. And those are meet. Okay. Oh, rip. This is supposed to go to. Here. This is still too big. Okay, so all of these back of curve lines that I just drew, we offset at 0.8. Oh shoot! So I already messed up. You need to go through, select all the points, edit the point elevation, set it to 0, and then that way you're not drawing anything at elevation, because you can see
Your points were in Z.
they were. So since I just moved them, this is where they're at now. So you can see what my stuff was doing.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why, if like this is, I'm drawing horizontally now. If my line does this and another line does this, I'm trying to join them. They're not touching, so they can't. Which is why these. That's why these didn't join. Like, oh, it turned into a 3D polyline. So in case that ever happens, you just type convert poly. So convert 3D poly. Yeah. Now it's just a polyline. It's at the 0 elevation. I want to make sure that everything is at 0 elevation. Okay. So now this is polyline, offset by 0.8. That's my curve. And he didn't shoot much on this side of it. He said it's a 3-foot walkway. This is offset by 2 feet, which in this case I'm going to join them and then offset. That's a fillet. This is a fillet command. It extends the line to the line, cuts it. Okay. So that backward curve is definitely wrong. But no one's gonna say boo about it. I'm at the point now where I think I want to start using polylines. I want to use lines for everything except backward curve, just because like if he tells me the fence is 3 feet from this side of the house and I offset by 3 feet, it would offset every side of this, and I just want to decide, you know.
If it was polyline, it would offset everything.
Yeah, if I did a polyline. Oh wait, I need
Oh yeah.
like
It
that.
would offset the whole object.
Yeah, it would do the whole thing, which is annoying. So which again is personal preference. Like if
Yeah, you were telling me to only use polygons when I was drawing the two.
yeah, yeah, and I'm starting to not want to do that. Which like you can draw on polylines. Like this is a polyline. I can just type X, enter, and explode it, and it turns into lines.
Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. Make everything an individual line anyway.
Okay, so this right here, there's a this is a wooden fence. You can see it by the dashes.
Yeah.
Um, a a a chain link fence has circles, um, but they don't have the actual line types. Chain link fence has circles. Metal fence has squares. Uh, there's wood, metal, steel, wire. I guess it's barbed wire. I don't know. I haven't seen that in a while. So it goes here. Ideally, I think I'm gonna write something so that I can just like here. He shows me I can just, if I make the right line, I can draw from 55 to 35 to 36, enter it, go from 37, 38, 62, 48, 57, right? Instead of going around and clicking, which I used to be able to do in Carlson, which was really the only nice thing about it. So right now I'm actually going through clicking and whatnot. But if I could just type all that in, that'd be great. Maybe this point wrong. Yeah, like that. So that's a chain link fence coming off of it, which he doesn't shoot, but I'm gonna have to assume continues on. So I'm gonna take both of these. And then just there's a shot. Control point. Oh, this one's stupid. The trick, I like selecting the object. Then I'll come in here and change it from wood to chain. Um, so now these are conc. So I already have concrete here and I don't want to go find that. So I'm going to type lay and curve to make concrete my current layer. He only shot 3 corners. Yeah, right there. So I'm going to copy these, rotate them west, which is 180 degrees, and then paste and move them there. Because that's all I can really do. Makes sense?
Kind of that last part got blurry.
So he gave me 3 shots. So I'm supposed to be able to figure out where the fourth one is.
Okay.
So I'm going to copy these,
Just wrote, yeah, I got you.
rotate. And if you type W for west, that rotates 180 degrees. And just paste. And now this is a shed here. So I made the building layer current by lay and curve. Yeah, drew those. Copy these again. Okay. And now I got concrete here again. So here, here, perpendicular, and perpendicular carport. I'm gonna call that a building or not. And then all of this is asphalt. So I've got the curb. Guy wire, guy wire. Okay, so I'm gonna go pull this place up because I want to see. want to see what he's shooting. He has 2 shots with the guy wire, and I know for a fact it doesn't have 2 guy wires. Oh, unless it just does. Okay. It has 2 guy wires. Damn. What a pull. Okay, so I'd expect there to be a symbol for that. Found 60B. Control point, found PK mail. Looking through all my points, making sure that I have everything. GM was GM. Gas meter.
Guess what?
Gas meter.
Okay.
Got a guy wire. So he doesn't shoot overhead electric. I need to open Discord. There you go. So I don't, so usually, and also because they have a E util electric. What does this look like? Oh yeah, so OE stands for overhead electric. So because that's in there, I'd assume they'd want me to draw it. But usually, um, so I don't think I have overhead electric shots. Unless CP means that for some reason. Yeah, okay. So this is mostly done. Everything else would be symbols. Okay, so I've got this drawn up. Now I'm gonna go. Okay, so now I'm gonna check my workflow. What I want to do after this. Couple of points and explode. Move template stuff. 2-point area. Draw record. So I'll draw the record now. So I have to. So record is record property. So here's my plat. So my title commitment says I am lot 11, block 4 of this subdivision. So this one. Okay. So I'm going to draw this up. And because he found this one, and he found a couple of the stuff around me, I'm just going to draw those up too. Okay. So I'm going to go to the right layer and be in boundary. I'm going to drop mine. Just over here to the side. P line. Well, I don't know if I want actual lines. I'll do regular lines. Bearing, apostrophe BD. Do you remember this?
BD.
Yeah, apostrophe BD. And then I'll go to the 4th quadrant because I'm going northwest. 0 degrees, 47 minutes, 51 seconds, 233.8 feet. Southeast is north and west, so 486, 0800, 116.94. Southwest is northeast, so 189.12. Oh no. 50.17. And then I can copy this one, make it 6.4 feet, extend it to that. Something's off. Oh, I didn't do 50 feet here. Okay, so that I tried my best to draw this. I messed up somewhere. This is as much as I can zoom in. Yeah, so I'm off by like whatever this is. That's by 4 feet. All right, we'll see where I messed up. This is 136. So yeah, you don't remember the BD?
I remember.
Apostrophe VD stands for bearing and distance.
Yeah.
Remember the quadrants? Yeah, it says right here. 1 is northeast, 2 is southeast, 3 is southwest, and 4 is northwest. So right now I want to go northeast, so I'm going to type in 1 for my quadrant. And then the bearing that I want to go is 352.
Yeah.
You know,
That was like one of the first things we did. Everything after that was just pick a point and put the length and bearing distance.
yeah. So now I've got this bearing. I don't want to keep doing that. I just want to make this 75 feet. So I trim that because I know it's going in the same direction. And then I'll make this go. I guess that's 75 also. Yeah, that's 75 also. Okay, that's really weird. How long am I gonna make this? Oh, I made it. So this is supposed to be 248.2. No, that's where I messed up. I just typed in the wrong thing. All right, so now I've got that line from here, bearing distance southeast 86.08, 129.18. 86. So I can actually copy this one, make it 123.06. Oh my god. And we'll start with that, see if that's good. So gonna put all of these on the joiner layer because those are my joiner properties. They're not my properties. And I'm gonna block this, call it flat. Super rip. Break this. At 83.3 feet. We'll break this object using the first point being here, the intersection, and the second point being the intersection. It's a bit advanced. Not super advanced, but not really block all of this.
But like that, like when when you were showing me how to do things, you use like circles a lot, and I would just do like the actual distance, like things like that. It's just preference and figuring out what's quicker and what's
Yeah,
not.
there might be a faster way.
Yeah, that's where creativity.
Yeah.
chips in.
And I'm going to make the insertion point there. So if I grab it, it's in the middle of my thing. So now I'm going to walk over to my guy. I'm going to see the bound 60D. So that's way too far. So is this my property corner? That's a lot closer, right? And that seems to match. And did he find this? Yep, that seems to match. So Um, now, now I need to see. Let's see. So what I want to do, I'm going to go to my points. And this is where it's going to be nice. You can make point groups, and all of the monuments. So when it comes down to, like right now, because I'm analyzing the property corners, I don't care about concrete and buildings and all
Oh,
of
what?
now that I'm analyzing property corners, I'm going to be doing that. I'm not worried about concrete and building corners and this and that, the next thing, right? I just want to see the monuments. So I can go and create point group called monuments that includes raw description matching one half FIR 1/2 inch, right? And anything that, yeah. So the thing about that is, how did he spell it? Well, he did FIR 1/2. So I'll have to come back to this monuments properties. So for every single surveyor that wants to call it something else or spell it a different way, or put 1/2 and then the FIR or whatever, I have to put that in here. Now this has points in it. So this says 5 in it. So now I can change all of these. Let's say, so now I can then go. So this will be level 2 stuff, maybe level 3. You can go into your settings, your point styles. I can edit it, or no, I can create a new point style and call it monuments. Okay, so this is a point style. This is a standard point style. And what this standard point style is, it consists of, well, it's actually this X right here.
Yeah.
When AutoCAD imported the points, it chose to display it with the standard point style, which is an X. Okay, I can, and so I'm making a point style right now, and what I have the option to change is what it's displaying with it. Okay, so you can use a custom marker, or you can use a block. Since it's a found iron rod, and set it as a what? Oh, the block itself is the word. Okay, that's stupid. Okay, what the hell is? But anyway, so when I was talking about how like I'm setting up the template and stuff, the name of this block right here, which would be a found iron rod, is called FIR. What the hell? Anyway, I don't know why it's acting weird. I'm not gonna go through all that right now, but it would be so that this will just come in at looking how I want it to look, and it'll already have the point on it. I already know where all my monuments are, this, that, and the next thing. So it's just easier to deal with. For now, let's see. Gonna come in here. I am going to actually make another one, call it non-monument, and it is all points exclude just exclude FIR 1/2 inch, right? So so now this new point group that I just made has all of the things that aren't half iron rods, right? It pulled from everything in here, but it took out everything from here. So now anything that's in here, I can check, are there other monuments that I can include? found 60D and found peak 60 PK now. So I can just change these to red or something. So I'm gonna come in here. Change that. Those are the only two. Okay, anyway, so now that I know what these are, I'm gonna isolate this, 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 and all of my monuments. It's unfrozen. Oh, it is unfrozen. Okay. So I've got all my monuments and stuff. Isolate. So now I'm only dealing with all this stuff, and I can make this a little bit bigger now. So now I know I need to draw my plat to include these rods, right?
Yeah.
So make this an adjoiner. Make this 80 feet. And then go in 2 of them. And that is all of my monuments. So I don't actually need that. Don't need all this stuff. So this is what I was saying. So because this is GPS, this rod is where the rod is. Like when I turn on the map, even though it's a little bit off, this is where GPS says the rod is. So if I move it, that doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means I have to align my property lines to what's actually in the field. Okay. If it was shot the other way, if it was shot, oh fuck. This is all in my template. I didn't. I'm such an idiot. God damn it. This is supposed to be a specific job. I just messed up my template. What's that about to do? Oh, so if it came in, if it was shot the other way, that wasn't GPS, then you would move the points to the plat. Okay. Just real quick, what's happening? So this one, they go out, they take a GPS unit and they put it on top of whatever they want to shoot. They hold it there for so long, the GPS comes back and gives them a coordinate. The other way to save information is to take a shot here and call this 0, 0. And so your equipment has no idea where you are in space, right? So they just actually we call it first shot 5,000, 5,000. Then they're going to shoot a control point that's so far away, and they're going to call that the second point. Okay. Now everything that you shoot to measure, the system is going to keep track of it by seeing how far away it is from your first point, rotated off of this. So your next point. So if you wanted to shoot, so if your house was like right here, then the second point would be, it would know this angle, it would know this distance. Okay.
Okay.
So you now have a point there. You want to shoot a second point. It takes this angle and it takes this distance. Now you've got another point. Okay. So now if you were to have made your second shot over here, you would have done it over here. It would have taken, you're still shooting the same house, right? But your
Yeah.
second shot's over here. But what it's actually doing is it's always going to go clockwise. So it's taking,
Like 340-degree angle.
yeah, it took that angle. Okay. But also at the same time, it's actually, because your second shot was over here, it's actually doing that. So you can see, although the house never moved where like this is a house in this situation, right? As although the house never actually moved where it is in space, your first two shots determine where everything is measured from. So
It's just subjective to those 2 points.
yeah, exactly. So that's why your points can move and nothing be messed up, right? Like as long as all of these points are relative to each other, then you're fine,
Yeah.
right? But for GPS, when things are shot absolutely in space where they are, you can't move them. So for conventional, you want to get because they can move, you're going to draw the plat and you're not going to move the plat, you're going to move the points to the plat to make them fit. Okay? Because conventional points can move and they're not mean anything. GPS points can't move, so I'm gonna get the plat to fit the points.
Yeah.
So very important. You will mess it up, but try not to. Okay, you said, did they shoot power poles by the adjoiners or further down the street? Usually support teams, so I'll deal with that later. Okay, so for now, like I said, this one is GPS. Because it's GPS, or I'm sorry, because it is, he found all of my corners, I don't have to do anything here. There's no, there is no way I could analyze this property and then not look exactly like that, because he found all my corners, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. But let's say, for instance, he didn't find this one. I would have to do some interpolating, and because he found this one and this one, I would have to do some different things. So because he found this one, I could say, well, I know the plat says this is supposed to be, that far away from it, and the plat says it's supposed to be this far away from it. So actually, I can just do that. So let's say, where's the plat? Here. Okay, so this is the corner in question right there. So the plat says it's supposed to be 136.4 feet from that one and 83.3 feet from that one. So if I did not have this rod, my property would actually, oh, look at that. Look how close it is. It's insane.
Yeah.
My property would actually go right there if I were to estimate. That's one way of doing it. So we'll just mark this, just mark that as like a point right there. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is saying that the rod from here to here, that distance is supposed to be 136 plus 80. So 216.4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It is actually 216.33.
Yeah.
So what happens is you have, because it was supposed to be this long, but it's actually, let's see. So let's say this is this lot ends here and this lot looks like that, right? because um, because the link was actually this much, right? What happens is if I didn't have any other way to determine it, I would know that, let's just call this is supposed to be, if this is 100 and if this is the 136.4 feet, I know that that is, say, 80% of this total length. So because I know what the length actually is, I'm supposed to give myself 80% of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because in theory, between this line, between from this point to this point is, let's say, 80% of it. If I find it in the real world, I'm going to take 80% of that line, even if it's not the even if it's not the exact length that it's supposed to be, right? That makes sense.
Say that again.
Okay, this let me see if you what's it called? I can't. You remember this in do you remember this in math?
Yeah.
And so you're supposed to find what the missing is.
Yeah.
If you know that the length that you're supposed to have,
Mhm.
you're supposed to have, you know, you're supposed to have this much of it. What is that proportion of a line that isn't as long as it's supposed to be, right? So
Yeah.
you're essentially scaling the line. If
Yeah.
right there, see how it keeps the proportion of the amount.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening. Yeah. So, just, yeah. So the way you, so that takes a little bit of math. It's really, well, it's really not that hard. What happens here is you go 3x is equal to, multiply this way. You can do a butterfly multiplication. 3x is equal to 9, and then you just divide by 3 on both sides.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is once it's the two numbers across from each other divided by the third.
Yeah.
And so you just get used to doing that. You will have, well, so that's another way of doing it. And you know, so look, that one might even end up being even closer than this one, you know. But it's just, you'll run into situations and be shown. JD will teach you all the different ways. There's one where, because I know the angle that this one is supposed to make, you know, the angle that this one is supposed, like this, because I know that this line is supposed to be 89 degrees from this one, I can draw an 89-degree line just going on forever. And then I know this is supposed to be 76 degrees, and I draw that, and where they intersect, that'll put me over here. There's tons of ways to figure it out. There's an order at which you're supposed to keep things to determine it. I don't remember what it is right now. But anyway, so had this rod not been here, you'd have to interpolate. You'd have to do all these different methods to find out which
How
one
often
is.
is that rod not there?
Huh?
How often will you find that rod not there?
You never know. It is a normal thing for a rod to not be there.
Okay.
So shoot, the first one that I did. Let's see if I can find it. This one. So in this one, I didn't have my back pins right here. So let's see, how do I? Okay, so I'm gonna come in here. Oh, did I just turn off the layer? I think I turned off the layer. Yeah, I turned off the layer. Okay. And where's my plat? I didn't save my plat. So, so I'm gonna select those, select these. I'm going to isolate. Okay, so these are the only rods that I have, right? So what I did, and you can see that they're not actually that great. Maybe never mind. But the length that it's supposed to be is pretty off. So what I did was I you take, because this is the front of my rod. So say so that's what my lot does. I pretty much just had to angle my lot so that it matched the rods. And whatever happens to these lines, it just has to happen.
Yeah.
Right. But if that didn't, so in this instance though, if that doesn't follow the fence line very good, then I should probably try something else. Like if my fence is here and my property line does like that, you know, what, 10 feet off, if my property line ends up being 10 feet off, then I need to try and not make this neighbor sue this guy because, or I guess it'd be this guy suing this neighbor because his fence is 10 feet into his property, right?
Yeah.
So as much as, so there's two, not competing, but different ideas for this. One, we want, like, if monument says your property, like if our surveyor found a rod here, that's your rod, like that is your property corner, right? So y'all, someone messed up, and as the surveyor, we didn't mess it up. We're just the messenger. Don't get mad at us. But also, if you can, try to not make these guys fight about property lines, right? So because there are many different ways of allowing the property to look based off the same rods, try to do the one that causes the least amount of problems, right?
Mhm.
So you'll see it all. For this one, there's literally nothing I can even do. I'm gonna draw the adjoiner to the rod itself. I'm gonna copy these. Make those my adjoiners. Don't need that anymore. And so these are, oh, and this one. Oh wait, no. Yeah, no, never mind. Okay, so that's all my properties. What does it call next on the thing? So I drew record, verify with template boxes, fix drawing scale whenever it is in setup. Okay, so the scale. So you remember scaling?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. Man, I taught you something. So he actually has it messed up. but supposedly this is supposed to be, this will tell you what all of the different sizes of paper. So that's not going to fit. That'll fit. Right? See that?
Yeah.
This could maybe fit. Nah. Yeah, that'll fit. Okay, so this is a what? 1 to 20 ledger landscape. So ledger landscape. So I'm gonna come in here, zoom in really good, refresh, that'll fix all the points. And I don't. Oh, set my scale to 1 to 20. This is ledger landscape. What the heck? I don't know. I don't know what this is about. Okay, so I don't need this one. And I don't need all of this. Okay. So now I'm gonna dress it up. Let me get all the stuff on it. So if I copy something over, I need it if I'm putting symbols on my drawing, I need them to be in the legend. So come here. '20 scale is fine. Okay, so now I have so now I'm going to look for easements and stuff. This right here is a 15-foot building setback line. It's a 40-foot building setback line. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you able to pay attention? You busy?
No, much.
Okay, cool. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
This is a 15-foot utility easement on the back. I don't know what this line right here is. It doesn't look like it represents anything. Yeah, so I'm not gonna get it. Okay, so I'm gonna start with first I'm gonna make sure building setback line on here. Building setback is okay. So you offset this 15, offset this 40. In building setback lines, you only show on your property. Actually, JD only wants to show easements on our property. Gonna match properties of that building setback line to this one. And our house is on that. It's actually encroaching. That's not good. That is not good. And then this 15-foot utility easement in the back. So we're going to look for utility easement. Utility easement is UE. Okay. So I am going to label this as a UE. So I need to copy it from my legend, put it here. So now I can mark this as a UE. So I'm going to take the utility easement line type, put it there, the layer. So all this making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I spent some time the other day, and I went and made all these different labels. So I made all these notes and stuff, which is just like conf drive. I can click where I'm gonna if I have a conf drive, and it doesn't matter what layer I'm on, doesn't matter what scale. So like if I did this and then change my scale, it'll change with it.
Yep.
Right, which is very useful. But the way that they do it there is they have these that you would copy. Well, these are supposed to be annotated. I haven't actually checked if they are. Let's see. Does that change with it? It does not. See, so what happens is you'll be drawing your drawing, and some people will put on. Some people start like labeling stuff before they realize what scale they're supposed to be in. Because let's say a property ended up being like that big, right? You go to your thing, you can't see that. So you need a different scale, but you've already labeled it. Now you're just screwed, right? Now you have to go back and fix all of your labels. That's why I'm going to use this. Now, this you'll be sitting there and you pick from a list, and you can add and then click. What JD's going to have is he's going to have these, and you're going to be picking from this. So you can copy over and do that. And if you just want to change, if it's not covered asphalt, if it's covered like rock, you can change it. You cannot do that with mine. If you want to change what this says, you have to explode it and then explode it again, and then you can. It might still be annotated. No, it's not. So that's the drawback to what I've got. Is that if it's not on the list, then you can't just change it, right? But it is annotated. His is not his. If it's not on the list, if it is on the list, then great, but it's still not annotated. So this is when it's up to you, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
What I want to show you what I did though is I made some of these, and I'm still trying to make them better. So actually, I'm going to isolate all of these. And instead of going through and labeling all of them, I have this, which slaps on the label for me, and it pulls the information of this line. So
Yeah.
this line is that with, and that is, so this one is the actual bearing and the actual distance, and so it's dynamic too. So if this line changes, it'll change with it.
Yeah.
So I like that. Now the problem with this, you're supposed to be able to display the existing versus the record. Okay.
Yeah.
This only just copies the existing, right? It doesn't know what the record is, and I actually don't know how to do that so well. I wonder. So let me just play with something real quick. If I explode this and then explode it again, come in here. This makes it text. I can just delete all that and put in a field. And I put in category object select this line. Can I put in the angle in degrees, minutes, seconds at there? Okay. It doesn't look the same. There we go. Okay. That works. So you can, do you see what I just did?
Yeah, you meant like the text read out what the actual bearing is.
Yeah. So that would be nice. So what I just did, right? If you were to do that every time, you would save yourself from having to come in here, find your plat, and then type, you know, there, north, 89, 125, 123, 012. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's bugging me. AutoCAD symbol for degrees. Two, 4, 8. Yeah. Okay. So let's try it again. Okay. So let's see how long this would take. It would be, I'd have to come through, delete everything. Oh, shoot. Can I do this? Thank you. All right. It'd be supposed to be south 86, 248, 08 degrees 00 seconds east, a distance of 129.18 feet. So that is actually faster. But if I were to do it this way, you go object, object, select the object, go to angle surveyor. Okay. This one, I don't know. It seems like it's the same time. But if you do it this way and put on the parentheses, then you're not going to mess this up, right? This you can mistype. So that'll be a preference. I think I'm gonna do the field, especially because at that point, I wonder, can I just come in and copy this? I can explode this. Paste the field, choose the object, and the idea being you'd go over and you'd select the plat that I drew. You remember? You'd come over here and you just click on the record plat. Yeah, so it is immediately faster. Yes, it is. Good. Okay, good. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Okay, so this is how it's supposed to go. Let's see. I have my finished property lines and my plat. I'm gonna isolate these. Okay, so now I'm gonna add my labels to all my stuff. You know, get it where I want it to. And then I have to explode it. You remember what blocks are?
Remember what?
Blocks are?
Yeah.
Okay, so this right now is a block. Yeah, okay. So in order to break down the block, you explode it. Okay. So right now, this item this label that I made, it's called a general segment label. I explode that, it makes a block. I explode it again, then it turns it into text, right? Okay, so in here, I already erased this, put in a field of an object. Now I would choose this object, I would have it. Oh, it's a block. Okay, so you do have to explode it. So explode the block. So this is exactly how it would look now. Control F for a field. Select that line. I want that line's that space field object. I want its length and current units with an apostrophe at the end of it. Done. I wonder if I just rotate this now. No, it should. Okay, so you'll have to, I mean, which actually, you won't be dealing with this a whole lot because you're not going to have this stuff. You might have it in your program that you're going to be working with. But anyway, you go through and do that with all of these. Make them look pretty, and then you go through and add your. I got my comp drive right here. I've got public concrete is right here. Got public street info, things like that. And I'm gonna explode this, and again, I'm gonna rotate it. I did not type that. So T orient, by the way, is text orient to a line, and it'll orient that object. See that?
Yeah.
So then you just slap on all your labels, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. I'm good. I'm getting off. I'm done with this for now. That's plenty. Was that 30 minutes?
More than that.
I'm screen sharing. Okay. Yes. How do I stop?